Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday evening. We're glad to have you on board. Tonight, live from his very own studio with classical piano and some fresh puns performed live, please welcome the Panano Man, Mr. David Benjamin.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight for some classical piano and a few requests. Appreciate you all being here. And before I forget to mention it, in case there's any of you out there who haven't done so yet, please click on that like button, that thumbs up button underneath the video. And go ahead and hit like and subscribe and share. And especially hit subscribe because 2 days ago I didn't even know the show was happening tonight. So we have all kinds of surprises here on the Vaudacity network. I think the only thing that isn't a surprise is that we're in our own time zone. So up for tonight, I've got a program of rejects. I think is probably the best way to describe these pieces. As I think a lot of the Vaudacity musicians can attest, when we're just performing one thing on a show and we're trying to figure out what to perform, we'll look at a number of different songs and then pick one of them. So I always have probably 4 or 5, sometimes 6 other possible selections that I didn't pick, and so I thought I would present some of those tonight. First up, we have an elegy by Sergei Rachmaninoff. And this piece was written when my piano that I'm playing on was about 3 years old. It was written in 1892. It's one of his relatively early piano pieces. It's kind of an interesting piece. There's a lot of angst and just in it. And it'll be interesting to contrast that with the next piece I'm playing, which is also entitled Elegy by a different composer, a very different feel to it. So without further ado, this is the Elegy Opus 10, number 1, by Sergei Rachmaninoff. I've also got a fun new camera angle. Pretty cool. Hope you all enjoyed that. That was written before Rachmaninoff started writing his really, really impossible to play piano music. He's regarded as one of the best pianists to ever live. He is just an absolutely phenomenal performer and composer. It's one of, like I said, one of his early pieces. And I'm sorry, I was mistaken earlier. For those who care, it's Opus 3, number 1, not Opus 10, number 1. Opus 10 was an entirely different set of piano pieces. And let's see, who is in the chat? I actually have the chat window up on my screen for once, so I can see folks out there chatting away. And yes, Amanda, I see Amanda said this. The piano did get tuned. We had a tuner out here yesterday morning. He was here for, I think, like 3 hours tuning the thing and hitting the same note over and over and over again. It was kind of maddening to listen to. But the piano sounds a lot better now. So it was worth putting up with. Next up, I had mentioned earlier, and I don't know how much I'm going to have in the way of jokes for y'all tonight, because I actually have a lot of pieces I really wanted to play for everybody. So I'm going to try and keep the talking to more of a minimum. But next up, as I mentioned earlier, I have another piece also entitled Elegy. This is by a Ukrainian composer named Sergei Bortkovich. And he was born 1877, so he's a little bit younger than Rachmaninoff. He died in 1952. This elegy was published about 40 years after the one I just played. So the one I just played was 1892. This one was published in 1932. And as is typical of Bortkovich, he just has this very lush, rich sonority in his piano music. He was mostly a piano composer, just absolutely gorgeous melodies. And as you'll see, this piece, though it has the same title, has a very different feel to it from the one that I just played. So this is also Elegy, Opus 46 in C sharp major, which is a horrible key to play in. If any of you musicians out there can relate, I hate C sharp major. Hard to read. Anyhow, it's a great piece. Hope you guys like it. I got to figure out a better way, a quicker way of getting my mic and everything back. If anybody can, has experience with robotics or something, can design me something, just kind of throws everything back in my face when I'm ready for it. I forgot my camera's up here. When I'm ready for it, there we go. Now I got the. My lovely wife and semi-assistant Amanda is over here saying, "You need to change the camera." Problem is, I got like 3 or 4 different windows here. There we go. Hello, everybody. Got 3 or 4 different windows, all kinds of stuff going on, as you can probably see a little bit from that other camera angle. Let's see. Just catching up on the chat here a little bit. Hello, Diana. Hi, Emily. Glad you guys are here. And Jeremy and Anna. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And Don Emery, I see in the chat too. And Nicole Pierce, hopefully Mike is there with you. I don't know if he's in the chat separately or not. I see a lot of talk about flute. That's not what I'm playing, guys. I have a piano. Amanda's the one with the flute. Let's see, who else is here? Well, obviously Craig, and my parents are here. Hi, Mom and Dad. Glad you guys are here. And I think Amanda just said her mother, Barbara, is here. Okay, good. I'm getting an affirmative nods. I guessed right. So, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate the support. It's so much fun to have an audience. A little bit nerve-wracking, but hey, it's a lot of fun. So, I mentioned, I think, I had a couple of requests for the evening. I'm going to play the first of those now, especially since I see Emily in the chat, and I don't know if Serona, if the Farrens are in the chat or not. They had a request too, but I may skip that if they aren't here. So if you're here, give me a holler, and then I'll have Amanda like wave crazily at me so I'll actually, see it. The request that Emily sent in, she emailed me last night and said, anything Star Wars, your choice. I thought, cool. What have I not played so far that's easy enough that I can figure it out, in the space of a day or less than a day. But it's also something that I haven't played on one of the other shows before, because I kind of have this streak going now where I have yet to repeat anything that I've played, and I'm hoping to keep that going as long as humanly possible. So what I selected for the evening is the Force theme from the original Star Wars movie, Episode 4, A New Hope. It is one that probably, even if you haven't seen Star Wars, and if you haven't, how dare you? If you haven't seen Star Wars, then you may very well still recognize this. It's easily one of the most famous tunes from that first movie. And it's really cool. I absolutely love it. So without further ado, I say that a lot. I think that's turning into a kind of a crutch phrase, because, I'm like, I'm just sitting here looking at a camera. What do I say to a camera that just stares at me? Anyhow, this is the Force theme. I've got no idea who did this transcript, really an arrangement rather than transcription, but this version of it for solo pianos, obviously originally it's for orchestra. And so Emily, this is for you. Yeah. So that's some pretty fun Star Wars music. I always love playing Star Wars stuff. So as soon as Emily told me the other day that she wanted to request something from Star Wars, I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll play it, even if you don't request it at some point. And it's kind of funny. You may have noticed that time when I switched to the other camera view, and you can actually see what's on my screen. I didn't change the music to be full screen. The first two pieces I played, I haven't been practicing them with them full screen for some reason, and it was like really throwing me because they appear significantly bigger on the monitor when they're full screen than when they're not. And I was having to move my head more, and it's funny how there's the smallest things, stuff you never even think about, can really throw you off if you get used to it a certain way. And I see we have a super chat. I keep leaning towards the microphone. I don't think I need to. I see we have a super chat from Emily. Thank you so much. Says, thank you, David. May the force be with you, and also with you, Emily. And, in honor of the occasion, playing some Star Wars music, you may have noticed my Darth Vader bear back here and my Obi-Wan Kenobi bear on the piano that's visible in the other view. But yeah, that's another one of my favorite Star Wars tunes that somehow or other I haven't played on any of the shows before. I don't quite know how that happened. The next tune that I have for you guys is a piece by Schubert. I've played some Schubert on the show before. I've actually played two of the other pieces out of this particular set of four, I think on previous shows. And this is one that I've wanted to play. I actually wanted to play at the live event that Amanda and Nicole and Mike and I all played at back at, gosh, it was at the beginning of May, I think. It was a while ago. Time really goes by quick. And I'd wanted to play it at that. I've been thinking about it, and then ended up being somewhat humid. And, odd thing, when your fingers get sticky, they don't get off the keys as easily, and it can really screw you up. So I decided this has got some faster stuff in it, so I decided to skip it for that evening. But despite the heat, I'm going to attempt it tonight. So we'll see if I do okay or if we have a dumpster fire. Who knows? That's part of the joy of being on Vaudacity. My mother says, Mother's Day, David. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Mother's Day, wasn't it? Yeah, we've been staying at home so much. I don't know about the rest of you. I mean, I know stuff is starting to open up again, but we've been staying home so much that one day really just sort of blends into the next, and all of a sudden we're in June, and it's like January was yesterday. I don't know where the last 6 months went. Oh, and another. Julie says, thank you for the super chat, Julie. She says, how about an all John Williams night? Yes, I'm absolutely on board with that. Plus maybe some more recent Star Wars music that isn't John Williams, such as from The Mandalorian, because there's some pretty cool stuff in there. That's something I definitely have to prepare for. Yeah, that's certainly doable for the future. I have some Indiana Jones, some Superman, and I just got notification from my early warning system, aka Amanda, over here on the couch, that Serona Farron's here. So Serona, I do have your request, or one of your requests anyway, queued up in a little bit. Let's see. Yes, Nicole says March 2020. Now has been a weird time. I almost don't even count it. Yeah, or March 2020 until now. Yes, absolutely. It's been just the most bizarre of my entire life. Ooh, Harry Potter. Yes, thank you, Emily. I forgot that John Williams wrote the music for the first couple Harry Potter movies. There's some pretty awesome stuff in there too. And maybe I'll even wear an owl, like a hat, and it'll be a head wig. Okay, so we got one pun in at least for the evening. Yes, thank you, Craig. It's a little bit weird. I'd imagine this is kind of like what stand-up comedians who perform in front of a camera record themselves doing a routine. It must be what they feel like, because you want that laugh, that reaction, something, even if it's a rolling of the eyes or a groan from the audience or the audience, and there's just nothing. There's just this camera that keeps staring at you. All right. So this is the next piece I'm playing is an impromptu by Schubert. It's, I think, Opus 90, number 4. I don't know offhand how old he was when he wrote it, but he died at the age of 31, so he wasn't very old. This is... Sorry, Amanda was saying something to me. Yes, I am doing a request that's coming up in actually after this piece. I have it queued up. So yes, never fear. I've got that coming up. Anyhow, so this impromptu number 4 by Schubert in A flat, Opus 90. And here we go. Let me switch my camera view. chat back up here. It's funny. I'm finding as I do these shows, it's actually kind of difficult to keep up with what's going on in the chat, simply because when I'm talking, I want to look at the camera, but obviously when I'm playing, I can't see anything, and then I come back and it's just hands clapping, which, yay, thanks. And I hope you guys are enjoying everything. And yes, I see Nicole says Vaudacity has truly been a light in this dark time, and absolutely. I mean, I'm still blown away at this group, at the support, the audience members, just this whole community that we've got is just incredible, and you guys are all amazing. And honestly, you're a big part of the reason why this last, for me, 6-7 months or so, when I started performing, why it's gone by so quick. Because I'm always looking forward to the next show. And Paul says, no excuse, I should be playing and reading every comment. You're right, Paul, I should, but until somebody invents, no, there's no way I can divide my attention like that. It just doesn't work. If there was a way to do it, maybe, oh, here's an idea. I could have Amanda pantomime the comments to me as I'm playing. Okay, she's shaking her head. All right, so it was a thought. And I just realized I don't think I ever switched my camera back, so I'm sitting here talking to the wrong camera. I'd make a horrible, there we go, horrible newscaster. This camera's up there. The things. Oh, Paul's yoking. So apparently he is what, an oxen? Yoke. Or he's an egg, one of the two. So, oh, that's weird. How did that happen? Apparently, the Farron's request, I accidentally closed the file. So, let me get it back open here. Serona had requested pretty much anything from Final Fantasy VII. She really likes the music from that. There was one arrangement in particular that she really liked. Unfortunately, I couldn't find sheet music for it. It was not something I can play off a recording. So hopefully this will be a good substitute. I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games. They're a series of computer games for those who don't know. I think the first, as far as I know, story-wise, they don't really have anything to do with each other, but they've got similarities in terms of how the games are set up and how you play them, and similarities in the stories, but they're all different. And I think they started in like the late 80s or 1990s sometime was when the first games came out. And I believe the franchise is still going strong. They're up to, I don't even know what number they're up to now. So this particular one that I chose for this evening, and Serona, I downloaded a songbook or soundtrack from Final Fantasy VII that's like 300 pages long. So there's a lot more where this came from, a whole lot I didn't have time to look at. This one is called Tifa's Theme, and I played through it, and very, very pretty arrangement. I trust you know who Tifa is, because I sure don't. Oh, yes, I just saw something about putting Panano Man request. So, yes, if anybody has a request, they can email me. Emily put my email address in the chat. Just email me there with Panano Man request in the subject line. It's not critical, but it helps my Gmail flag it so I can see it more easily. And, yeah, send me whatever. If I can find sheet music for it and I can play it, then I'll put it on my show. It's lots of fun. So, Serona, this one is for you. This is Tifa's Theme from Final Fantasy. I was about to say Siete or Zeben or 7. Those are the only languages I know. Here we go. And I'm muted. It had to happen at least once tonight. Just saw the super chat from Serona. Thank you so much. I think you said it just disappeared, but I think you said something about thank you so much for playing the request. Absolutely, anytime.
And also Kelsey Blaine Gibson.
Oh, Kelsey Blaine Gibson. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for the super chat. That one has disappeared from... Oh, there it is. And she sent, ooh, heart with stars. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you so much for your support and being here. I remember seeing, I think on Facebook earlier today, you'd said you'd hoped you'd be able to make it. So I'm glad to see you here. I hope you're enjoying it. And I just checked the time and realized that, as usual, it has done that thing where it gets away from you, or me. I think that's just, I don't know, there's something about this network. It just does that. So, Craig, I had mentioned to a few people I wanted to end the evening, and I actually did, amazingly enough, play through just about everything I'd wanted to play tonight. I wanted to end the evening with the Moonlight Sonata. Do we have, Craig, about 20 minutes or so? Is that okay?
I think so, since we're not up against anything. Why not? Just maybe before you do that, you might want a promo.
Yes. Thank you for the reminder. I will absolutely promo. So if you want to, Craig, if you want to queue up the slides, we'll see what's coming up on Vaudacity for this coming week. And I just realized I'm looking at the YouTube and not the Zoom. So let's get the Zoom back on. So first up, tomorrow night, Lovecast number 61 with the incredible Hunter Ackerman. I know I will be tuning in for this. I absolutely love watching his Lovecast. No pun. Actually, that wasn't even a pun. That was just repetition of the word. He is an incredible musician. If you're watching and you haven't seen his show, I highly recommend it. He plays guitar, he sings, his cat does dances on his mixer board, which causes all sorts of hilarity to ensue for us. For him, it's probably not as much fun because he has to then fix the mixer. But yeah, tune in. He's got 60 shows under his belt, 61 coming up. It's a pretty amazing achievement. And Then, Friday night, Suggestion Box. Typically with Tom Carosa, Denny Siegel, Dylan White, Jane Brooker, Danny Roquet, Karen Bond. I don't know offhand if those will be the 6 performers this Friday night, or if sometimes they rotate some people in and out, but they are a fantastic group of comedians. They have me rolling on the floor regularly, laughing, not crying. So tune in Friday for that show. That's bound to be a good one. Then, next Wednesday, 1 week from tonight, the Picker Circle with Mike and Nicole Pierce. And they are, if you haven't seen them, awesome guitarists and singers. Absolutely love watching them perform. They typically have a number of friends on their show, and they kind of go, round robin sort of thing. Each of them, playing songs. And Mike and Nicole oftentimes play duets together, and it's loads of fun. It's very mellow, very relaxed. It's a great show. So make sure you tune in for that coming up next Wednesday. Then, the moment we've all been waiting for, the thing I pretend not to know about when I want to try and be funny, which I think kind of falls flat. Friday, July 2nd, Saturday, July 3rd. First time in a very, very long time, we have in-person Polly's Picnic. Friday night, we have a few of the hour-long shows, Lovecast, Picker Circle, Paul's own show, Out of the Cove, and my wife's own show, Amanda on Demanda, which is normally on Monday nights. They are all performing their shows for you Friday evening. And then Saturday, we've got a Polly's Picnic. It's live improv comedy. It's music. I'll be performing at that. I'm probably going to try and worm my way into Friday too, just because it's what I do. And it is bound to be an absolutely fantastic show. We cannot wait to see everybody there. So if you haven't gotten a ticket yet, tickets are still available. Go to VaudacityOnline.com and make sure you get your ticket reserved for that show. Don't miss it. It's going to be a good one. And I think, yes, the next slide here, we are also going to have Vaudacity Family Reunion Festival t-shirts. Again, you can, I believe, reserve your t-shirt through VaudacityOnline.com. I was on the website earlier today, and I think I remember seeing a link in there so you can get yourself a t-shirt reserved. There's going to be handed out at the show. I believe if you arrange with Paul Carganilla directly, we can ship it, but talk to him about that. But currently, as far as I know, the plan is that the shirts will be handed out at the show if you have reserved one. And the sizing tends to run a bit small. I myself normally wear a medium. In this case, I think I ended up specifying a large just looking at those measurements. So you probably might want to consider ordering a size up from what you usually wear for that.
And don't forget to pre-order by the end of day Friday, June 18th. It's $20 Venmo, and you need to Venmo that to Vaudacity Network. And please include the size in your payment note.
Okay. Thank you, Craig, for that instruction. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. So I think that's it for the promos. Let me switch my...
David, are we there? David, computer just went blue screen. Oh no. Oh my. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think based on that, we may unfortunately we may have to end our programming for the night. We did at least get a good show in, and I want to definitely thank you so much for joining. Okay, I've been told to vamp. Well, we'll definitely try that and see what happens. But we do very much appreciate that you are going to be joining us on actually that night. And please remember that I'll go ahead and bring up that slide one more time. Give me a moment as I am doing that. I am vamping to see until I maybe get a little bit a word from headquarters that he is going to come back. And Amanda says he's going to see if we can come back. If not, then, we'll just move along. Anyways, so once again, to give you the details on our amazing Vaudacity Family Reunion Special Festival, as David has mentioned, Friday night. Now you can purchase the tickets separately too. Don't forget, Friday night you can come to, or Saturday night, or both. It's up to you, and you can get tickets at www.vaudacityonline.com. Now, this is a bring your own food, beverages, and lawn chairs. So this is going to be like our traditional picnics that we've had in the past. So just for you to be aware of that. And it's going to be a very fun 2 set of days with all of the people that you see here on Friday, and the show's on Friday, and then all of the people you see there on Saturday, July 3rd. I think we might be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Mr. David Benjamin with our extension of tonight's Panano Man.
All right, I think I'm back. Am I back?
I see you. I hear you. You are on the YouTubes.
Yeah, right. I am back. Sorry about that. My computer, for those of you who haven't seen, it's a little table back here. I built the computer into a little table back here, and I usually have the fan speed turned down pretty low, but obviously we're in a heat wave. It's been very, very hot, and I think I must have had the fans too low and the computer overheated. So it blue screened on me, and then restarted, and now I'm back with the fans turned up a little bit. So I had promised to play it sounds like we have a super chat. Let me flip back over to, who is that? Oh, from my mom. Thank you so much. So proud of you, David. Love sharing another evening with you. Yes. It says I can buy my own super chat. What does that mean? I can buy the whole thing? Wow. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, and I love sharing the evening with all of you too. I'm so happy that you guys are all here. And it's funny, since we started doing these shows, I think my parents have heard me play the piano for much, much more than they ever have in probably the last 20 years. Just in the last 6 months, they've heard far more piano music out of me than they have in a long time. So it was pretty cool to be able to get to share that with everybody. Sorry, what? Oh, Amanda's telling me to start playing, to quit talking, start playing in case the computer decides to die on me again. So I'm going to do just that. We are going to play all three movements of the Moonlight Piano Sonata. You will probably recognize the first movement. There are two others which are nowhere near as famous. And as is typical for a piano sonata, they're oftentimes three movements, contrasting. This one's a little bit unusual in that the first movement is the slowest of them. The middle movement is a little bit peppier, and the third movement's very active and fast. And they're all in the same key, which is also an unusual feature of this particular piece. So, Opus 27, number 2, Moonlight Sonata in C sharp minor by Ludwig van Beethoven. I think I'm done now. Hope you guys like that. That was obviously a piece is a bit of a workout. That third movement is why you hear all the people who can play the first movement. There's a lot fewer people out there who can handle the third, and even that, it's not something I've practiced in a while. So I'm just happy I got through it with some dignity still intact. And it looks like, yeah, let's see, lots of clappings, holy buckets from Emily. Thank you, Emily. And thank you, Nicole. All I can say is, dude. There's a reason why I did this new camera angle tonight, because I kind of realized that my old camera angle, you can't really tell from the old camera angle how much distance your hands have to cover. And I thought it'd be fun to change things up so you could actually see, how much of the keyboard, especially the piece like that, how much of the keyboard you have to cover and how quickly it has to go. And this is a piano. I mean, Beethoven would have loved this piano. Pianos in his day had fewer strings on each key. He had a tendency, he's well known for breaking piano strings, so he'd be pounding on it so hard with so much passion in his playing. And pianos back then, they just sounded weaker in general. Yeah. And it shows my sexy knees. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to change cameras. Thank you, Don. I'm glad you noticed that. And you notice this is my sexy knees. Okay, so apparently I missed the sexy knees. I like it. I'm gonna go with that because it's one step away from sexy Jesus, and unfortunately also a lifetime of physical achievement away from sexy Jesus. But we won't talk about that part. This outfit I have on today this is what came out of the drawer this morning, and this is my screw it, I don't care about fashion, it's too damn hot outfit. So okay, so thank you, Paul. Thank you for that. Sexy Neezus. All right, I'm gonna go with it. So thanks all for being here tonight. Thank you for sticking with me. I know we went about 20 minutes over what was planned, but if we didn't, this wouldn't be a Vaudacity show. And thank you so much to Craig for stepping in tonight and running the show for me. One of these days I will learn how to do it myself. It looks like fun, but last minute and trying to put a show together, practice stuff to get it performance ready, it was too much. So I really appreciate Craig stepping in, making this possible, and keeping our live show streak going. This is a lot of fun tonight, and I'm so glad I was able to be on tonight with you guys. And if you let me, I'm probably just going to keep rambling. So I think we'll call it a night. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later.